let's do this. Alright, so our favorite QAnon conspiracy theorist, Peter, is back at it. We haven't seen or heard from him in about 2 weeks, and I was curious why, and that lines up basically exactly when Donald Trump came out, once again when he was having a event with Bill O'Reilly that they were speaking at, and once again he came out and spoke kindly of the vaccines, telling his fans, telling his audience, hey, I've been vaccinated, I got the booster, please go ahead and get it. Some people booed him. The QAnon sphere freaked out because, of course, they're like all anti-vax, like crazy people who are uninformed or have been misled about the vaccines, which are great, by the way. If you haven't been vaccinated for COVID and you can, please go do it. Get your booster if you haven't already. Anyway, the QAnon people are freaking out and trying to come up with all sorts of justifications for why Donald Trump said, get vaccinated. Peter, not having a great time. The justifications Peter has in this video trying to explain why Donald Trump is saying something that he vehemently disagrees with literally amounts to, guys, it's opposite day. Donald Trump literally just means the opposite of what he said. So let's see Peter talk for like 23 minutes on why he thinks Donald Trump is just playing a game of I meant the opposite of what I said. Yeah.
Welcome back, Patriots. It's your optimistic Trump supporter here, and I know a lot of you have been wondering if Trump's goal is to win this war with the least amount of collateral damage as possible. Why in the world would he...
Least amount of collateral damage. Not zero collateral damage, the least amount. Very, very important.
Doing specific chess moves that are causing a bunch of collateral damage to civilians. He is promoting vaccines in a way full of lies.
Bingo card check before we get too far into Peter's video. Just Flat Earth. Flat Earth was the only thing we had so far.
That is damaging up to millions of people's lives. Why would he do this? Well, if he didn't, something much worse would happen. What? Well, I'll explain that in this video. In other words, just because Trump is pushing vaccines and lying about them, and it is harming possibly millions of people's lives, that doesn't mean what you think it means. There's something else going on here. He's
Don't believe what he says, believe what I tell you what he says means. Obviously, Donald Trump intended to speak to an audience of his fans and followers, and then have them come to my, Peter Hanna's YouTube channel, who only has 4,000 subscribers or something, so that it can be interpreted. That's much easier than just saying what you mean.
protecting us from
Recording in the car first? Sure. On the bingo card, recording in the car.
a greater danger. So that's something I really want to address in this video, because I think a lot of people are attacking Trump, and I don't like that, because I think that if you look at the bigger picture, you understand exactly why Trump is doing this. So we dive right into it. Definitely smash that subscribe button on my Rumble account and also my YouTube account, which is in the description below. I'm the optimistic Trump supporter there, and I really appreciate your support. So let's dive right into it. So let's start out with the 4 most likely reasons that Trump would promote this COVID vaccines at all.
Number 1, the vaccines are safe and effective, and even Donald Trump, who is one of the, if not the dumbest person to ever hold the office of the President of the United States, even he understands that. That'd be reason number 1.
Let's go through it real quick, because I have a lot.
Did he get faster? Oh yeah, Peter is like manic in this. He like talks really fast and gets going like this, and he gets just to talking to me. It's like he doesn't even know where his sentences are going to end when he starts the sentences. He just knows he has to keep talking about this because he's got to keep his audience engaged. He's got to convince them that Trump is still, you know, a good guy, and he's helping everyone, and he's saving everyone from the aliens. He's going to get the med beds, you know. He gets absolutely fucking crazy in this. By the way, if Micro Machines would like a new spokesperson, hit me up. Nick with 45-bit says, don't believe what he says, believe what I say he means. Sounds like Christianity.
To cover. First of all, the first possible explanation is that maybe he's not a good person, and maybe he tricked us, and that's why he's pushing these poison shots.
They're not poison. They're good. Get them. They will train your body, they will train your immune system, and prepare it for infection in case you do. That way, if you are exposed to COVID, you either will not contract it, or if you have a breakthrough case, unfortunately, but good news, you'll have a much less severe version if you have a breakthrough case, because your body's already gone through the training of dealing with it because of the vaccine. Vaccines are one of the greatest inventions human beings have ever created. Like, flat out. Not even my opinion. It's just objective reality. Please get vaccinated. Do not listen to Peter. He was literally raised in a cult. Umatsa with 100 bits says, so I usually lurk, but my parents just said that they think my sister's miscarriage was caused by her getting the vaccine, and I'm feeling a level of rage I didn't know was possible, so have some bits. Oh my god. That's... your parents are the worst. No offense. Your parents are the worst.
I think that's unlikely because he's already proven that he is an extremely heroic person, and I trust him 100%, so...
Peter, how has Donald Trump proven to you that he is an extremely heroic person, question mark?
Oh, let's throw that theory out the window. Next theory. Well, maybe he is pushing the vaccines because they work. Wrong again. There's
We did it! Peter just disproved the entire body of research the entire medical community has done on the vaccines, up to and including just like looking at an intensive care unit and seeing the vaccine status of the people within it suffering from COVID. Fuck that. Peter said no, so no, it's just not true. Isn't it nice that reality just conforms to whatever you say? It'd be really inconvenient if that wasn't the case. Mystical Millennial, thanks for 2 months, says, love the channel. Hannah Banana, thank you. Eris DeBear, thank you for subscribing at Tier 1. Thanks for the new sub, I appreciate it.
Mountains of evidence that they don't work, and they're damaging a lot of people, and they're killing possibly millions of people so far, so that gets thrown out the window.
Peter, literally billions and billions and billions of people have taken the vaccine. If a large portion of people who had taken the vaccine were dropping dead, we all would have noticed. The streets would be littered with bodies, like that thing from Monty Python, where they're like, bring out your dead. He's not dead, blah, 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 blah. You know the bit. Peter. No. No! Stop reading conspiracy theories on greatawakening.win, deplorable 333. Yeah, Peter's got an account on there where he posted about me, so that's fun.
Window. Another argument you can make is that he's unaware. This is the argument that...
Oh, speaking of which, I guess I should point this out. This is funny. This isn't a dox, by the way, because he's talked about his account before. And he was talking about the fact that he posted about me and stuff, so. I am not doxing him. He talked about his own account. But anyway, I posted about this on Twitter, and since we're already talking about Peter, I guess I should. Let me show you what he posted. Let me go to Twitter real quick. And show you what the tweeted. It's around here somewhere. Here we go. Alright, so here's what Peter posted on greatawakening.win. Quote, my unvaccinated family members were spreading their spike proteins too much. Anyone else get sick from vaccinated people this holiday season? That's not how anything works. You can't shed spike proteins if you're vaccinated. That's not how that works. Zarek Shadow says, do you think Peter knew who Donald Trump was before the 2016 election? Was he a big Apprentice guy? Did his cult stay at the Trump Hotel property? I just want to know how he first found out about Trump and why he grew to have such an unshakable faith in him. Good question. I don't know. Vaccine shedding on the bingo card? Yes. Anyway, he says, my brother and sister joined my family and parents for Christmas. Naturally, everyone was at peak health, except my vaccinated siblings, who were pretty sick from their triple vaccine decision. I'm calling bullshit on that. They were embarrassed that they were vaccinated and sick and we were unvaccinated and healthy. It was pretty funny until they left. And now my girls are pretty sick and I feel like I got hit with a truck. Pains everywhere, massive headache, sore throat, cold, etc. I'm just wondering if other people out there also graciously spent the holidays with the vaccinated super spreaders only to end up sick from all their spike protein shedding. It's possible I got sick from somebody else, but it's unlikely because I only spent time with 2 sick people this month. My siblings. Nick says, CPS, open up. Oh, you think that's bad? in the comments, someone told him to buy ivermectin and give it to his family, and he asked, where can I legally get ivermectin? Yeah. So that's what Peter's up to, potentially dealing with actually catching COVID, or at least some sort of disease, and he's potentially giving his kids fucking ivermectin. So, cool. Probably Lannister says, Peter posted about you? I thought you were his favorite Democrat. Yeah. Democrat.
Candace Owens made recently when he made a lot
Bad parenting on the bingo card? You betcha. We'll go over the bingo card once we're done, but yes.
of pro-vaccine statements on this interview with her. She had to defend him and say like, oh, well, he said he got the booster shot and he was promoting vaccines and saying all this stuff because he's old, he doesn't know much about vaccines. Also wrong. Trump is a genius and there is a team of geniuses working with Trump. So this theory is absolutely ridiculous. To say that Trump would push vaccines because he's not.
Not only is Donald Trump a genius, he is the head of a cabal of geniuses, okay? It's like the Justice League of geniuses. It's like the Justice League, but they're all Batman.
Aware of the damage is beyond me. Like, I can't even process how badly that doesn't make any sense at all. Trump is a genius. There's a team of genius behind him, and every chess move he does is a strategic move. So what is the most likely scenario of those four? I have to tell you the fourth one. The fourth one is optics, and it's that one. That is the most likely scenario, and I'll tell you why. Because we looked at the...
Can I give your bingo win to Spokane, Cisco? Yep, let me check the bingo status thing and cross your name off. Sorry, just give me 1 second. File, recent, bingo winners. PK the Lost. Yep, you do indeed have a bingo win. Okay, and give it to Spokane, Cisco. Gifting. Okay, that should be going through.
The 4 possible scenarios, and of the 4, 3 are basically impossible. No way that he is a bad person.
There's no way Donald Trump is a bad person in Peter's opinion. 0 chance. The fact that his first wife, one of the reasons she left him, was over, quote, marital rape. Don't worry, he's a great guy. Let's not even mention the other sexual assault allegations that have been made against the man. Let's not mention the fact that he was friends with Jeffrey Epstein and wished Ghislaine Maxwell well after she had been arrested. Don't worry about that. It's fine. He's a good guy. Bittergrin, thanks for gifting a sub.
There's no way that he's not educated, and there's no way that they work.
He's just listing every potential wreath. So he believes Donald Trump is a genius and majorly ethical, and that vaccines don't work. Is it possible to have every single wrong opinion at once? Hydrate.
So that leaves only one option. He's pushing the vaccines and saying all these positive comments about them, even
You're 2 people away from knowing Epstein? Canceled.
lying about them, endangering
That is weird, though. Who do you know who knew Jeffrey Epstein? And do you trust them?
people's lives. His
Because maybe don't.
own supporters for optics. So then the other question becomes, well, get into the deals of the optics. Why is it so important that he's pro-vaccine? Why is it so important that he's seen as pro-vaccine? And that is a big question, and I have all the details and answers for that, and it's super duper interesting. So let me split this whole argument up into 2 different questions. First question is, why did he create the vaccines under his administration, even though he's been very vocal about being...
To be clear, Donald Trump did not create the vaccines. The U.S. government did, basically, to my understanding, promising to buy X number of vaccines once they were actually completed, which they did. They also, I think, put some money into the research, but I think the first COVID vaccines were developed in Germany by a company, by, of course, scientists working for a company in Germany. Don't remember exactly, though. Don't quote me on that. Probably a Lannister says, I am 3 to 4 people away from knowing Casey Anthony. Weird. Yeah. Altered Rin says, my mom knew the guy through her job who was in his cellmate that almost killed him. Oh. Huh.
Being anti-vax. 2, why would he promote them, even lie about them to the extent where his chess move is actually damaging a lot of supporters, even his own supporters? That doesn't make any sense. Well, until you understand why he's doing it. So the first question is pretty easy to answer. There's 2 general reasons why he did it under his administration. And the first one is that it is the quickest way to exit the pandemic, and the pandemic's goal.
Peter, the quickest way to exit the pandemic is to get vaccinated and have everyone get vaccinated. Yeah. Pixels Falling with 100 bits says the only explanation for Peter's brain.
That's a side effect of the marijuana poisoning.
I do love Hank.
Goal was to crash the economy in a really damaging way that
Pfizer was not part of Warp Speed, yes. Okay, cool.
we won't be able to recover. So it's very important that the vaccines came out quickly. He's pointed out that originally the vaccines were going to take 5 to 12 years, and at that point, everyone would be desperate to get them, and there'd be socialism everywhere, and the economies would be absolutely...
There'd be socialism everywhere. I'd love for Peter to explain that one to me. Peter, what do you think socialism is? And how would it be everywhere after 5 years of not having a vaccine? Explain those 2 thoughts that are disparate from each other and how they connect.
Demolished. So that's reason number 1. Reason number 2 is because in the way that they were rushed, they weren't able to get FDA approval, and because of that, and I know they're claiming FDA approval and mandating it and say that's legal. It's completely illegal.
What? What do you mean they're claiming FDA approval? At least one of them I know has full FDA approval. I guess I'm not sure if the other one got full FDA approval at this point. Someone could let me know in chat. I'm sure someone could Google it or already knows. But one of them got full FDA approval, and they're just waiting to release it under its new name. But it is literally the same medication that does the same thing. It has been fully approved, Peter. And the other ones, if there are any that don't have full approval at this point, they're still under emergency use approval. So, they're still approved, just for emergency use. That's not how science works? Yeah. Yeah, the emergency approval is still through the FDA. They still do the same testing, they just go through the process quicker, basically, for emergency approval. At least as far as I understand the process, which is, you know, layperson levels, just to be clear. Thought most of them had full approval? Again, they might. I only know of the one that definitely got full approval, because by that point I had already been vaccinated. It's not something I paid a ton of attention to. Jamie Lynn 46, thanks for 8 months, says, hi, I'm getting close to having this child out of me. I can't wait until we name this loved child of ours. I have to pee all the time. They won't get off my bladder. Ooh, ooh. What constitutes the line between Chudwatch and Tinfoil Tuesday thins? It seems like that'd basically be a free space. You're not wrong. I think it more has to do usually if someone... I don't know if I'd count this, because this is absolutely Tinfoil Tuesday. Like, this is conspiracy. But if someone starts to bring, like, MGTOW talking points or tradwife shit into it, I'd consider it closer to that space.
Don't believe
it skips a lot of the bureaucracy of the approvals. Thank you.
it. And it'd say it's FDA approved, but it's not. Trump made sure it would not be FDA approved.
No, it got FDA approved, Peter. We can look it up right now. FDA approved COVID vaccines. Or sorry, whatever. Let's see. FDA approves first COVID-19 vaccine. This was back in August. The first one was fully approved. So I don't know about the other one. The other big one. The Pfizer and the Moderna, I know, are the big ones.
So because these are not FDA approved, you can't legally mandate. So this gives...
Is 5D supposed to read 5G? No. 5D and 5G are different conspiracy things.
Anyone who doesn't want to get a vaccine, a legal out to protect themselves from the damaging vaccine. See?
Peter, they're not damaging. Trump has literally been vaccinated and boosted. Get vaccinated. Felix Night Owl says, I saw a TikTok yesterday that said libs shouldn't mind a Congress full of men legislating abortion laws. though men don't have uteruses since they allow men to be women without uteruses. TikTok is getting crazy right-wing. I really want to slap these people. Jesus Christ.
See? He's trying to protect us from the vaccine that he created.
Hydrate.
Mind blown, huh? So let's dive into this second.
Hey, Peter, have you considered that makes 0 sense in terms of a narrative? Yes, we'll do a bingo check after this.
Question. And the second question is, why in the world would he be promoting vaccines and lying about them and damaging people? I have the answer for you. So this is why Trump has been promoting the vaccines and lying about them. And this is very important to know. This is a big chess move, counter move to the deep state's move. Now, when Trump ran for president, he was very anti-vax. And so
he was definitely running, and he'd said multiple things that were bullshit. He was basically vice signaling to anti-vaxxers. He never fully came out and said, like, I don't think vaccines are safe. But he said things along the lines of, I don't know, maybe the vaccine schedule should be further spaced apart. But to my knowledge, at no point did he come out and outright say, I do not like vaccines. I think he basically dog-whistled at anti-vax, vaccine hesitancy talking points.
deep state counted on him being anti-vax. And what their original plan was, I assume, based on all the information I collected, is that they are going to vilify Trump supporters and Trump and say they're all terrorists. And the way they're going to do this is say that the pandemic is the biggest problem, it's killing lots of people. And
I mean, it is. Let me see. COVID deaths in U.S. What are we up to? Every day, it's higher. 829,000 deaths. We're almost at 1 million. USA. USA. It's not funny. It's really fucked up. Everyone get vaccinated, boosted, and seriously, take shit seriously. Still social distance. Still wear masks. Omicron's out here fucking people up. The spread is crazy. It is so spreadable. Clauva Faustna, thanks for 11 months, says, started my new job. Great job as always. We love watching you when we can. Oh, well, thank you. I'm glad you were able to get that. Audis Noir says, I'm tired of the focus on male anti-abortion legislators when there are plenty of women willing to throw other women under the bus for their own personal gain and or punishment of other women for not conforming to their own ideals. I get what you're saying, but also a majority of them are men, so... Nick with 45-bit says, spreadable and edible like butter. God.
And these anti-vaxxers and anti-maskers are basically terrorists because they're spreading disease.
Today on BitChute, Alex Jones told his audience that January 6th was overseen by federal commandos. That's not shocking to me. He's about to get screwed over by those court cases he just lost.
Refusing to comply. And Trump, with all his anti-vax statements, is the leader. So now they can go after Trump, they can go after all the supporters, they can rile up.
Peter, I don't know how to break this to you, but Trump has said previous things about vaccines that were positive. Silva, thank you for following. Like, I don't like Donald Trump, but he has said multiple times to his audience, hey, get vaccinated, it's good, because he wants to take credit for the vaccines because of Operation Warp Speed. But his audience are so virulently anti-vax, and just virulent in general, I guess, because of the former. They are twisting it. They're twisting it, and they're not giving him the satisfaction of saying, like, I did this, because people boo at him whenever he tries to take credit for it. It's so funny. H-Baird with 45-bit says, Omicron is showing a doubling time of less than 3 days. At this rate, by the end of February, every person in the U.S. will be infected. Please, everyone, take it seriously. If you haven't gotten a booster yet, schedule it, please.
Round us up, and just, throw us in concentration camps, and then we die of COVID. So this was an excuse.
What are you talking about, Peter? You don't even believe in COVID. What do you mean?
Just to kill Trump, kill his...
No one's gonna put you in a camp, you weirdo.
...family, kill a bunch of conservatives, and then they can easily win elections once the conservatives are dead, right? So...
Peter, we can easily win elections now if we didn't have fucking, gerrymandering and the Electoral College. There are fewer Republicans.
How does Trump counter this? Well, I pointed out their plan was for Trump to say very anti-vax statements and to be 100% against the vaccines the whole time. But he tricked them. Now, they did have a very intelligent counter move to his counter move, and I'll explain that in a second. But first, let me explain Trump's counter move. So they intended on him being very anti-vax. He ended up being extremely pro-vax. Now, not as pro-vax as Joe Biden, but pro-vax enough that they can no longer use that plan of, vilifying all of us as terrorists because we're...
What are you talking about? No one is calling anti-vaxxers, or at least no one that I've seen, or it's not a major narrative that anti-vaxxers are, air quote, terrorists. You're just assholes. You're absolutely selfish, uninformed rubes who are hurting yourselves, your families, and other people. Fuck you. Fuck you. But no, I've not seen anyone call you terrorists. What are you talking about? And even if they were, that wouldn't be hinged upon Donald Trump directly telling you something. Sky Comet Fallen says, don't tell Trump not to alienate his supporters. Never interrupt your enemy when he's making a mistake. I know. Believe it or not, I don't think Donald Trump watches my show. Nick with 45-bit says, a lot of anti-vaxxers are called terrorists, but because of other things. The Venn diagram is just a big circle. Well, that's because of, the terrorism.
Anti-vax. And so that is crucial, and I have a lot of evidence to support that. Trump left us clues. When Trump talks about the vaccines, he literally said specific statements for people like me to decode and tell you guys.
Peter is Trump's special little boy who Trump sends secret messages to through his words that the other people are too stupid to understand. But Peter's big galaxy brain is here to translate it for Daddy Trump. Does he hear himself? Come on, Peter. Really? Logarth the 50-bit says, speaking of terrorism, y'all ready for tomorrow? I don't think anything will happen tomorrow. Trump already canceled. Trump was supposed to have a press conference tomorrow about something. I don't know what. He canceled it. I don't think anything will happen tomorrow. Mystical Millennial says, if Trump doesn't watch Hannah Reloaded, I feel sad for him.
Why he had to say these statements about COVID vaccines, even though he knows they're lies, even though he knows they are damaging people. So what's clue number one? So the first thing he said that was a very big clue is 3 or 4 times when talking about the vaccine, he's mentioned that it saved tens of millions of lives.
We did something that was historic. We saved tens of millions of lives worldwide.
And so I believe...
Peter, he's saying that because the vaccine is effective. He's saying the vaccine, which people took, saved them from catching or getting severe versions of COVID that would have killed them. He's literally saying what he means, Peter. This is like the one time Trump is saying what he means, and he thinks this is the thing where he's not saying what he means. TubeMan642 says, hey Peter, I live in Florida, and my mom, who's fully vaccinated and a teacher, caught COVID a few days ago, and she's been following all the guidelines, except she keeps going to church, and there was an outbreak at her church. A lot of the people there legitimately thought God would protect them, and it pisses me off that people who have the same brain rot as Peter got my mom sick. MH Darkbeast says, Peter translating Trump's secret transmissions. Drink more Ovaltine. That gets me too. They should probably read up on the Black Death. Like, people during the Black Death, during the plague, they were all Christians. God didn't protect shit. Get vaccinated.
Even when he says this. So the only scenario that I can think of that makes a lot of sense that would explain how damaging people with vaccines can save a lot of lives. He even said up to 100 million people could have died. Well, that completely aligns with my theory that he was being pro-vaccine to protect us and protect the movement, so we're not...
Do we need to add a "this isn't a dog whistle, Peter" space on the bingo card? It's pretty funny.
Labeled as anti-vaxxers or anti-maskers, and we're...
You are literally both of those things, Peter. You don't like masks and you don't like vaccines. What do you think words mean?
First terrorists, and then we're round up, and then, to round us up as terrorists and treat us as terrorists, there has to be...
Peter, I don't want you going in large groups of anyone. Why do you think I'd want to put you in a camp with a bunch of other unvaccinated people? You literally shoot out like a new variant every 5 minutes. Mystical Millennial says, reminds me of the I trust my immune system anti-vaxxers. Like, historically speaking, that is a terrible idea. I don't know if you guys know this. Every person who has ever died of a disease had an immune system. There's no such thing as just trusting your immune system and having that be a good idea. Tea with Goblin says, Omicron is particularly horrifying. Here in South Wales, we went from only 1,000 or so to more than 30,000 cases a day in less than a month. And we had about 96% of eligible adults fully vaxxed. And now the anti-vaxxers have teamed up with the sovereign citizens to try and take on the government. Send help. Why is everyone I cover on stream now in cahoots? It's like the Legion of Doom, but stupider.
Some level
New South Wales, sorry.
of public support. And if Trump is going around saying, oh, take the vaccine, that's great and great, and the Democrats are hearing this, there is no public support. We are not looking like terrorists. So he's protecting us from being rounded up and thrown in concentration camps. A lot of people expected this. In fact, there was even chatter among Mike Pence and Nancy Pelosi about rounding up conservatives, including Trump, labeling them as terrorists, and executing us.
Source? Source? Question mark, exclamation point, question mark? What? Peter, where do you think you are getting this information from? Are the aliens whispering it to you at night? Because they're not a reliable source. I don't know if you know this.
But it never happened because Trump kept on countering. He kept on being, whenever they went for this push to vilify us and be like, oh, we're terrorists, he would counter, be like, oh, we're very pro-vax, yeah.
Meek with 45-bit says he's getting this from his own personal desires, right? It's very strange. Also, Peter, if people were like authoritarian fascist enough in order to want to round people up into camps, do you think there is any optical move that you could make that would stop that group from doing so? Because that's not really how it works. Pixels Falling with 100 bits. With a link.
Horse's ass.
It just makes it sound like Peter's his thought process as, wow, European Jews during World War II really just needed a better PR team. Like, no, fuck you, Peter. That's not how anything works. Zero V Streaming says, I just came in. What Metal Gear Solid plot is Peter making up this time? Really, really stupid one. Sky Comet Fallen says, source equals his asshole. Where his poop comes from. References.
So it was an excellent counter. And so I believe him when he says it saved millions of lives. Yeah, because it aligns with my theory perfectly. And I know that his goal is to win with the least amount of collateral damage as possible. So he's been very clear. This was the lesser of two evils. So that was a very big clue there.
Peter, he's been very clear. It's good to get vaccinated. Your daddy Trump, has told you to get vaccinated. So go and do what daddy says. Get fucking vaccinated, Peter. Get your kids vaccinated as well.
He's like, guys, this did save millions of lives. No matter what you think, it did save millions of lives. And I believe. So this is another very big clue. Trump said, you're playing into the hands when you're like, oh.
I'm pretty sure Peter owes me a fucking crown, by the way. That bastard.
Oh, the vaccine, blah, 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 blah. So the mainstream media took this statement and said, oh, if you doubt the vaccine, Trump says if you doubt the vaccine, you're playing into their hands. You must get the vaccine. Or
that would be good. Please do.
Or else you're playing into their hands by not getting the vaccine. Trump didn't say that. When Trump said...
What's my favorite Pokemon? Eevee.
You're playing into their hands when you're like, oh, the vaccine. What he was saying is when...
But what does Daddy Sume think? Probably something lewd, if I had to guess.
We're saying, and we're all collectively saying, including Trump, like, oh, the vaccine is bad, the vaccine is bad, the vaccine is bad. That would be playing into the cabal's plans. That's what he was talking about. Let me show you the clip right here.
You're playing right into their hands when you sort of like, oh, the vaccine.
So as you can see, he said, you're playing to their hands when you're like, oh, the vaccine.
Peter, he is literally talking about you. He is saying you are making him look bad. And you are, which I find funny, so I guess continue. Blackwing Hecate says, the people you cover.
Brainiac, what is it? Look, I just want some pants. A decent pair of pants. Solomon Grundy want pants too.
What the fuck? Zarek Shadow with 45-bit says, Peter's poop comes out of my butthole thing never fails to make me laugh. Hell, I was just thinking about it the other day, and I started laughing so hard I let out a fart, and then my cat got scared and started doing a mad dash back and forth across the house. Very vivid. Pixels Falling with 100-bit says, is Peter's wife in the same cult? Cause this is the future I see for him. Yeah, she is.
I'm having fun.
Your wife divorced you.
I interpret that as if he and all the conservatives in unison, from the start was like vaccine bad, vaccine bad, vaccine bad. That is what the deep state planned on us doing. They planned on us doing.
No, Peter, it turns out Republicans are just really stupid and short-sighted, and now their followers their voters are dying, and, that's not really good for business.
And so we would have played right into their hands, and Trump threw them for a loop. So that was a very, very interesting part of, researching, because I really liked when I heard it. I was like, playing into your hands. Oh, I see that clue. Thank you, Trump. Reason number 3. So this clue was also subtle, but super duper interesting. He not only has been pro-vaccine, but he's been trying to downplay how anti-vax the conservative movement. I mean, everyone knows the conservative movement is very anti-vax because we're very smart. Of course we're going to be anti-vax.
This is a problem that'll solve itself. Citosaurus says, what is this research he speaks of? Taking a massive bong rip and staring at the ceiling for 2 hours? Hey, that can be research, goddammit.
And what's interesting...
Yeah, Hannah's exasperated, Space. That's fine. I'm turning red. Yeah, I am.
thing is that he downplays it in this clip. Check out this clip.
Both the president and I are vaxxed, and did you get the booster?
Yes.
I got it too. Okay, so...
Oh, don't. No. That's all right. There's a very tiny group over there.
Again, does Trump know how anti-vax his base is? Have his aides told him? Because every time this comes up, it seems like he doesn't understand that a large part of his audience is anti-vax, and frankly, I'm glad. Because I don't want him to start coming out being outright like, don't take it. That'd be terrible. TubeMan with 50-bit says, oh god, I just realized that these anti-vaxxers think that the plot of Metal Gear Solid 5 is happening for real, where a splinter cell of the secret world government is trying to kill off all English-speaking people in the world using a genetically engineered super parasite that attacks your vocal cords and lungs if you speak English. Genus Kojumbol. That doesn't make any sense. How would that even work? I don't understand why people think Kojima's a really good writer, because everything he writes sounds like it comes out of a Neil Breen movie. I just think he has a budget. M. Scheffler, 720, thanks for 9 months, says, great. I finally have a sub baby and Peter is on. It can't get any better. 9 months. That's a stream baby. This baby's name is going to be Dr. Eric Von Klaus. Dr. Eric Von Klaus.
So he says he got the
Hydrate
booster, and the crowd is like, boo, because they don't understand why it'd be promoted.
For the record, I like Death Stranding. I really do. I've liked plenty of Kojima's games. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying, boy, are they fucking weird.
Putting a dangerous poison shot, right? And he says, oh, that's just a a tiny group over there in the back. So do you see how publicly
they were shouting, "Booster, booster. Death Stranding is bad. You're bad." No, no. Death Stranding is a really great atmospheric game, and I will stand by that. Is it the funnest game to play? It's not the most actiony game, but Death Stranding is good. I enjoy Death Stranding a lot. I got the remastered version. We're not here to talk about video games, though.
not only is he pro-vaccine, but he is down.
But your opinion is wrong.
Playing how many anti-vaxxers there are, because he knows that if we are all labeled as anti-vaxxers from the start, we would have been declared the terrorists. We would have been rounded up and put in concentration camps.
Peter, no one's putting anyone in concentration camps for this shit. Just stop being anti-vax. It'd be great. You're really hurting people, including your family. M. Scheffler says, Klaus is a family name on my dad's side. What a coincidence. Or do lizard people know that kind of stuff? Oh, we know that kind of stuff.
And died.
I can't time you out anymore. Want to bet, bitch? Hold on. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Boop.
Of COVID. So this is, not only is he being pro-vaccine, he is trying to protect our reputation. He's trying to protect us from, you know, the government and Joe Biden and all these people rounding everyone up and getting public support to.
Let's see when hold on, I'm gonna time you out. Let's see when I'll let you back in. Why did I do that? I'm mean.
To deal with the terrorists. He's protecting us from that scenario. And it's very interesting how he downplays how many anti-vaxxers in the audience. That is a big tell right there. The last really big clue that I saw that Trump is, in fact, not pushing the vaccines.
I know, he did call me a mean name.
Is what he says around the topic of vaccines.
We got a vaccine done, 3 vaccines done, and tremendous therapeutics.
You compare it to Joe Biden. Joe Biden is pushing the vaccines. Trump.
Yeah, you should get vaccinated, Peter, because again, the whole like thing we're dealing with right now would be over if everyone would just get vaccinated and we just chill out for a little bit and stop worrying about multi-billion-dollar corporations' bottom lines for 5 minutes.
Is saying stuff for optics. And here's the difference. Joe Biden says, get the vaccine, go get your vaccine, go get the vaccine, that's all he says, right? Right? And so what does Trump say? Trump's like, oh, you know, there's ivermectin and there's great therapeutics and there's, you know, you can get the COVID. He was talking to Kansas like, oh, your husband got COVID, so he has a great immunity, and if you get COVID.
Like, guys, even if COVID at this point is endemic, which, honestly, yeah, but everyone catching it at once like this is devastating to hospitals. It is devastating to hospitals. Even if COVID is a thing we deal with now, for the rest of our lives in some way, shape, or form, we are still in a pandemic in the sense that it is spreading very quickly to a population that has not dealt with it before. This is dangerous. Lots of people, mostly anti-vaxxers, are winding up in the hospital at this point and dying and clogging up beds that could be taken by other people who have other things going on. It's not good. It's really not good. Not to mention the burnout in the medical community must be insane right now. I can't even imagine. When I was younger, because Michigan, a lot of people in Michigan get into like healthcare in some way, shape, or form. I had tons of friends go into nursing, and I almost, seriously, when I was considering what I was going to do after high school, I thought about going into nursing because I had other friends who had gone that path or whatever, and I am so glad I didn't. I would have burnt out like day 2 of the pandemic. I cannot even imagine how rough it must be for healthcare workers right now. Not only dealing with idiots, but dealing with idiots' families, dealing with all the extra work, your coworkers getting burnt out, hospital administrations not giving a shit, not paying you right. It's all fucked. Tea with Goblin says, I played Death Stranding when lockdown first hit. I liked the peaceful walking element of it. However, I was also a bit high as fuck and alone in the house at night and wasn't prepared for the fucking baby noises to come out of my PS4 controller. Oh.
And you heal from it, you have incredible immunity. So he talks.
You feel bad for Randy. I worry about him sometimes. Yeah, me too. Someone check Daddy Sume's link. It's probably after 10,000 years I'm free, right?
After 10,000 years, I'm free!
Fair enough.
He talks about the immunity being important. He talks about ivermectin. He talks about therapeutics. He talks about all the alternatives and then says, I'm against mandating.
Mr. Blast, who, for those who don't know, Mr. Blast is my future father-in-law. A customer of mine, aged 39, just died of COVID. No vax. When he could not breathe, he still wouldn't go to get help, and he passed out. His wife called an ambulance. He died before they got there, and left 4 kids and a wife without a dad. Don't be stubborn, people. Being stubborn, like, medicine is not about your politics. It just isn't. Vaccines are good. We've known this for a century. Stop politicizing vaccines. You're killing yourselves. Speedy Yoshi with 45 bits says, my older sister works for a hospital and has to deal with COVID patients like every day. She's legit thinking of quitting. She tells me stories about how some of the older patients scream that they can't have COVID, it's fake, or that they must have injected them with it. And some of them even ask her, can I get the vaccine now? And she just has to say no. One of them literally begged her for the vaccine before being intubated, then dying. Yeah, I've heard stories about that. It's really, really sad.
I think people should choose. They should think for themselves. Does this sound like someone who's forcing you to get the vaccine?
Is Mr. Blast a doctor? No, he's not. He was just talking about a customer that he had.
Because in my opinion, if he was pushing the vaccine on us, he would abuse of his power and say, guys, all Q followers, listen carefully. The vaccine is 100% safe. You can get it right now. I order you to get it right now. Get it right now. He would start pushing it to the level that Joe Biden is. He is slightly pushing it for
Peter, he understands at least enough that he can't outright say, like, you idiots, you need to get the vaccine, you're all dying, you can't give me money if you're dying. I just can't. Peter, get the vaccine. Trump is telling you to, and you give a shit about what he thinks, so do it.
optics protecting us from getting round up and thrown in concentration camps, but he's not pushing the vaccine. So it's interesting. For the people who...
Yeah, he's never once acknowledged Q followers directly like that. He's been asked questions about them. He has never once addressed Q people, ever, in that way. Speedy Yoshi with 55 bits, a Herman Cain Award post. An unvaxxed patient on a rotoprone bed and hypothermic protocol. Oh my god, what is that even for? Holy shit. Yikes. Guys, get vaccinated. Get vaccinated. It's literally free.
Who are, you know, turning their backs on Trump because he's pushing the vaccine. Compared to Biden, he's not pushing the vaccine. He talks about other alternatives, therapeutics. He's talking about...
Peter, Biden has also talked about therapeutics, but the point is, if you get vaccinated, you won't need the therapeutics, hopefully. The therapeutics are more expensive. They're more expensive and they're more intensive in terms of what it takes to get them. Everyone cannot take therapeutics. There would not be enough to go around, not to mention much more expensive. I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, a single dose of the vaccine costs about $20 or something like that. A single dose of monoclonal antibodies costs about $2,000. It's not even close. Peter, stop it. Nick with 45 bits says, it's for turning into a transformer and owning the libs.
Natural immunity, and then he talks about the vaccine enough to protect us. So that is what's really going on. So when people say, oh, Trump's pushing the vaccine, be like, hold up. Is he really? Not really. Peter, have you considered other possibilities? Maybe you're not...
Oh, God. I'm uncomfortable with how close he is to the camera.
All right, maybe there's another reason he's promoting the vaccines. I have. You know, I've considered many possibilities. One, and they're kind of a bunch of broken theories I couldn't really put together, but there's little pieces of possible explanation. Like, one would be that he's okay with damaging these people with this crazy chess move because med beds are on the way, or they're already, you know, they're coming, and they'll heal all the people from all the damage to the vaccines.
For those who don't know what med beds are, in the QAnon conspiracy theory, I think this also ties into some other conspiracy theories about, like, the Great Reset and aliens and stuff like that. Blackwing Hecate with 45 bits says, Peter would be a real cutie if he wasn't a flarking loony. Sure, I guess. I don't like commenting on people's looks either way, though. So medbeds are a sci-fi technology that they believe aliens developed that's literally like a bed you sit in, and it just cures you of every disease, injury, whatever. This is going to be believe sci-fi technology is real on the bingo card, just so you know.
That's a possibility. Another possibility would be that he's promoting vaccines, even lying about them, because...
Daddy Sume really wants attention today, apparently. A heal station for Metroid? Basically, yes. Yes.
Maybe the real COVID will be released. The real...
Oh, no! I trade. Hold on, let me go back. We gotta listen to this whole statement in and of itself.
Real COVID will be released. The real COVID will be released. It will be deadly and extremely dangerous. And there is a good vaccine for it. And he's trying to open up the anti-vaxxer's mind, open up their mind to possibly taking a real vaccine that...
Peter, we are literally already in that situation! That is the situation we are currently in! COVID is real, you stupid motherfucker! Your children are ill! You're the guy you think is like a fucking Jesus. Donald Trump is even telling you that COVID is real and you should get vaccinated, and you aren't listening. Listen, Peter. Get vaccinated, you stupid bitch. You fool. You foolish fool. Peter, COVID, newsflash, has been real from the beginning! Almost 1 million people in America are dead, Peter! Get vaccinated, you stupid bitch! You stupid, stupid bitch! Ah! Alright, I'm good. It's out. It's out. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Logarth says, I always think of the sarcophagus tech from Stargate. Haven't seen it. Mystical Millennial with 100 bits says, Hannah, it was good getting to see you live after a tough semester. Chat, love y'all. Gonna have a Don't Look Up style night with friends. Have fun. Sky Comet Fallen with 50 bits says, maybe the real COVID was the friends you made along the way. Mike Mack says, fuck your med bed. I'll take L Vapor Rub, the true miracle drug. Tube Man says medbeds like in the movies Elysium and Prometheus. Yes. Zero V Streaming says the pandemic is never going to end, is it? I mean, eventually it kind of has to. So that works. Probably with a lot of dead people though, even more than now. Blackwing Hecate says, and here we see the real Hannah blasts. Procagam says, I need whatever drugs he's taking so I completely ignore reality for a bit. It must be nice. Poetic Fox says, holy shit, Hannah, you fucking scared the fuck out of me. I'm just cleaning glasses and suddenly rage. Hats off. We don't do hats off on tinfoil days because I'm already wearing so much and it's already so hot. So save it for tomorrow.
Actually does protect them from actually a dangerous virus that actually does exist. That's another possibility that I've considered. Another theory, and this is another one of the most common theories, is that, you know, pushing the vaccines was the quickest way to end the pandemic, and if he didn't end the pandemic, then everything would crash, and then this is what I was saying in the beginning, you know, like, the pandemic would crash the economy, and then the United States wouldn't be able to fund its military, the military would get weakened, and we wouldn't be able to policemen of the world, and we're not the policemen of the world, and the world would, you know, be destabilized as China becomes a new superpower, etc. This is the theory I had.
Has anyone heard of the term catastrophizing? Procagam, thanks for 100 bits. Pixels Falling with 80 bits says, gonna go out with my partner, but before I go, I'll protect you from Daddy Sume. Thank you. Appreciate it.
originally, but it doesn't explain why Trump has been so pro-vaccine. So that's why I had to do more thinking and think about maybe it's bigger than that. Maybe it's not just about ending the pandemic as fast.
Citisaurus says my therapist tells me I do that all the time. Mine too. MH Darkbee says Hannah dealing with Peter. If it loads. Oh, flames on the side of my face. I love it, but I can't play a clip that long. Flames on the side of my face.
Fast as possible. And so another possibility that I considered is maybe you can combine a bunch of these theories. Maybe there's med beds. Maybe it's also to get out of the pandemic as soon as possible. Maybe it's also protect us from being thrown into concentration camps. And finally,
or Peter, Occam's razor, vaccines, which we have known about for a century and have completely eradicated multiple diseases, including polio. Maybe vaccines are good, and you should take them because they are good and will protect you and your family and help end the pandemic.
Maybe it's a great technique for painting Trump as the hero, because there are a lot of Democrats who really...
You think Peter's afraid of Occam's razor? Everyone knows Occam is a well-known member of the deep state cabal.
Appreciate that Trump is pushing the vaccines. Now, when you think about it, what happens if Joe Biden came in or Hillary Clinton went in? They took 5 to 12 years, they created a vaccine.
5 to 12 years? Do you know how long a presidential 2 terms is, Peter?
And a lot of people would see...
Like, do you know how long one presidential term is and that you get 2 of them, max? 5 to 12 years.
These, Hillary and Joe Biden as heroes. You were the people that ended the pandemic with your vaccines. You're the hero. And
okay, so you agree vaccines are good then, and that they will stop you from getting things, or if you do have a breakthrough case, it'll prevent you from having a severe case. Felix Night Owl with 45-bit says, how does Trump complain all the time about NATO and the Paris Climate Accords and the Iran nuclear deal and all these other things take advantage of the U.S., but his supporters literally want to occupy and police around the world? Makes no sense. Yeah, consistency isn't their forte.
And a lot of leftists, a lot of Democrats, they're now supporting Trump a little more, or at least liking him or seeing him as the hero or ender of the pandemic, which is...
You can tell Peter spends absolutely zero time talking to non-crazy people, can't you? Like, I don't think he's spent a single second in a non-Trump QAnon group in 2 years, minimum. Peter, I'm glad Donald Trump is saying to take the vaccine, because everyone should say to take the vaccine, but Trump is still a fascist piece of dog shit. That doesn't make him a good person for doing the bare minimum. He is not responsible for the vaccine. He just isn't. But please, you respect the man, so listen to him. Stop trying to tie yourself in knots to pretend he said something he didn't. Listen to the words that came out of his mouth and get vaccinated.
A good thing. It kind of boosts his reputation among the people who don't really like him a lot. And on top of that, Biden has the lowest approval rating in all of presidents in all of human history.
No, he doesn't. Trump was lower. Don't get me wrong, Biden's are low. And honestly, rightfully so in my opinion. He's gone back on tons of fucking shit that he said he was gonna do. Student loans, anyone? But Trump's were lower. Just for the record.
Now, if he had taken credit for the vaccine...
Nixon was lower? I don't know where Nixon was at this point in his presidency. At the end? Yeah.
He would have much higher approval rating. So this is another thing that makes Trump look very good and Biden look very bad. At least among the Democrats.
Wait, why does this make Biden look bad? That doesn't make any sense. You think people on, quote, the left, whatever you think that is, you think they're praising Trump for being pro-vaccine, but mad at Biden for being pro-vaccine? No, I'm mad at Biden because he's a milquetoast piece of shit who doesn't do anything. He's a status quo, politician who's doing, nothing. Don't get me wrong, I'm glad the infrastructure thing went through, but he hasn't done anything about student debt that he said he was going to. He recently basically gave up on federal, like, intervention in terms of COVID at all. Like, he's bad. He's not as bad as Trump, in my opinion, but he's bad.
So these are all the different theories that I have. I would like to know what you think in the comment section. I know I've been talking so much, but I have put so much thought into this because I'm extremely anti-vax, and I have been, to be honest, really angry that Trump's been pushing the vaccines, and my pastor's angry, and a lot of angry people. So I wanted to calm down, soothe that anger, and find a good reason that made sense so that we can move on and continue supporting Trump, even though this expensive chess move is doing a lot of damage, you know. So much collateral damage with this chess move, to lie about the vaccine, say it protects you, say, you know, I got the booster, I got the shot. Trump didn't get any booster. He didn't get a COVID vaccine shot. Are you?
He did, Peter. He got vaccinated, honestly, before almost anyone else. You people are all bitching about, air quote, experimental vaccines, which isn't even experimental, because it had emergency usage, not confirmation, approval, and then full approval. But Trump was one of the first people to get it. Bumble Homestead was, Angry Gun Church, lovely. Blackwing Hecate says, is Peter as angry as 12 Angry Men? No, the 12 Angry Men were capable of listening to solid arguments and changing their opinion based on said evidence.
Are you kidding me? He is lying, but he has to do it for optics. And the best possible explanation I can possibly think of, and if you have a better one, let me know in the comment section so I can read it and go through it, and maybe I'll correct myself and say that I'm wrong. But the best possible explanation, the best possible, I didn't mean to say that, I meant explanation. The best possible explanation that I have is that he was doing it because he was trying to protect us from a greater danger. And the greater danger, the most likely scenario, was what a lot of people expected to happen. That a lot of conservatives were going to be rounded up because we're anti-mask, or because we're, you know, the January 6th, you know, there was a...
Those are completely separate things. If you were at January 6th and you actually, like, broke into the Capitol, yeah, you should face justice for that because you broke the law. What? H. Baird says, the fact that rich people elbowed their way to the front of the line pretty much tells you the vaccines were all researched. Yeah. The fact that the first people to get it were wealthy people and powerful people, politicians, celebrities, people like Jeff fucking Bezos, that's how you know it works. Eek the Cat, thanks for 7 months. Honest Noir says, we should just call his deranged ramblings explanations from now on. Thrash Mio says, I love how anti-vaxxers are freaked out by the mRNA vaccines because, quote, genetic words, but they're all about the Regeneron where the antibodies are partially sourced from genetically modified mice. I know. The problem here is you assume they think about anything or actually know anything about the things they're saying. They don't. See you, Rin. Thanks for stopping by.
Up of painting us as terrorists. There was in the news, mainstream media, they were saying like, you know, white stream terrorists, you know, the...
Peter, this one says hardcore vaccine refusenicks could need de-radicalizing like terrorists. They're not calling you terrorists. They're saying you've been radicalized. Reading comprehension. Difficult. Inslee calls unvaccinated domestic terrorists. Don't know about that one. Not a narrative that I see parroted. I don't think you're a terrorist. I think you're an idiot who's endangering other people. Terrorist implies you have agency and understand what you're doing, and I don't give you that much credit. Blackwing Hecate with 45 bits.
Stop breaking the law, asshole!
Always good advice.
White terrorists, the conservative terrorists, the anti-masker terrorists, the vaccine, anti-vaccine terrorists, like, they were labeling us as terrorists left and right. They were building up that narrative, and Trump stopped it. So that's why I think that is the case. So if you've gotten this far in the video, the last possible reason that...
Morak with 10 months says, I got into a huge argument with my dad about philosophy and economics. He ended the argument by telling me I'm just saying words and that I'm lying without any evidence, and now I'm writing him an essay with sources because I hate myself. Good luck. Nick says, to be fair, the school board Karens are effing terrorists. Well, yeah, if you go and threaten someone, to try and get your way politically. That is the definition of terrorism. Yeah. Hydrate.
That kind of points this theory about Trump promoting vaccines to protect us from concentration camps, is the fact that in the narrative it has been pushed that there's been terrorist attacks against what? Vaccine companies, and a bunch of vaccines have been burned by terrorists.
Yeah, if you did those, I would consider you those things. Yup. If you actually blow up a building or destroy medicine for your political purposes, you are that, Peter, by definition.
So let's see here. You know, if you're a white male Christian, you're a terrorist. If you're anti-masker, you're a terrorist. If you're anti-vaxxer, you're a terrorist. The anti-vaxxers are burning down all the vaccines. We must throw them up and put in a concentration camp. And then Trump's like,
Peter is so, like, intent on taking all of his political enemies, in my opinion, based on hearing him talk. He's intent on taking all his enemies and killing them and putting them in camps, that he is incapable of understanding that even though I disagree with him and think he's wrong, I don't want any ill will towards him. He just assumes I also want to kill him because he wants to kill me. It's so fucked up. Of course, these are all my opinions. KBS666 with 100 bits says, being in a gun cult does make you at least terrorist adjacent. Well, that's a story for another day. Felix Night Owl with 45-bit says, quote, Trump made it stop seeming like we are anti-vax terrorists because he's protecting us, and he's an awesome guy. Also, I am extremely anti-vax. Peter, Hannah for Congress 2022.
oh, don't worry. There's just a small amount of anti-vaxxers. And this is a message for the Democrats, because Republicans know it's not the case. And then, you know, he'll say, like, get the vaccine and all this stuff. So these are counter moves. He's countering the narrative. The narrative was being built up. The narrative was being built up to put us in concentration camps. I believe strongly so. And he calmed it. He destroyed.
Can I post you a link to this? It's not on YouTube. It's on Rumble. Here. Austy Wasty, thank you for gifting a sub to the community. Speedy Ochi says, okay, this might be more chuddy than tinfoil, but I have to share it before I forget. Someone on Discord was telling me white people are disadvantaged because they're white, and then they posted these for reasons. Oh, no. I'll list all of the reasons. We're seen as racists in the media. We do not have access to certain college grants that some other races do. Businesses do not get tax cuts if they hire us, so it means that we are less likely to be hired. Currently, we are not looked upon in favor, and any time we make a joke, we are walking a very fine line. I'd love to hear what that person considers a joke. People can get away with calling us racist slurs because you can't be racist towards white people. I'd love to hear what he thinks a racist slur towards white people is. Because I'm aware of zero. Also, your house is worth $1 million. Our house is worth $130,000 because we couldn't afford a nice house. What? His house is twice as expensive as mine. There's a systemic racism towards us too, and even you've shown it. Like when I said BLM should include white people who have been the victims of police brutality. You told me no. We are taught in schools that we should hate ourselves because of what happened years ago instead of having it just be a part of history. What the fuck is he talking about? When violence against white cops, a white cop in our area was just shot in the face a few weeks ago happens, no one says a fucking thing. Yeah, they're a cop. If you're a cop, you take on a risk as part of your job. We have a harder time getting jobs in houses because we are not seen as a minority. We have to provide more... Guys, the C word is not a slur. I'm just not allowed to say it on Twitch because Twitch is stupid. We have to provide more paperwork to even get electricity or gas or water. What are you talking about? What? Some Caucasian people can't even go walking down the street without being jumped. We can't even say shit when people of another race talk shit, talking us because it will be seen as a hate crime. This guy's got some major fucking problems. And also... needs to touch grass instead of spending all his time on weird racist forums. TubeMan says this is a list of the extreme Ritz baked wheat disc energy, or this list gives me extreme Ritz baked wheat disc energy. I have no idea what you mean.
Right. Now, what's interesting, since you got this far in the video, and it's been a long video, probably my longest ever. What's interesting is how they were countering his counter, which is super interesting. So obviously, you know what Trump's counter is, to instead of being anti-vax, which they expect him to do, he's pro-vax. So how do they counter that? They're using his pro-vax stances to create a lot of conflict and divisiveness among conservatives. And Alex Jones is one of the people who's pushing.
This is, you only give me 45 bits to say this? Really? 45 bits for, fuck it. I set my own limits. Okay. This is a chat someone is paying me to read. These are not my words. Ooh woo. Oppress me, daddy waddy. I'm your precious whittle tighty whitey minority. What the fuck? What in the fucking shit, Nick? I hate you.
It's the most.
I'm banning you from bits messaging. Aaron4464, thanks for 9 months. Says, hey everybody. God damn it. This stream baby's name is, Uwu Owo. Uwu Owo is the name of this baby.
And I'm very upset about it. But basically, Alex Jones says that Trump is pathetic and that, you know,
honestly, Alex Jones trying to take on Trump is really funny, and I enjoy it. Procagon with 300 bits says, here, you deserve more for reading that. Oh, thank you. Radiology with 100 bits says, what up? Can't sleep. Peter still having a normal one? Normal for him, yeah. Hydrate.
we should all ditch him, and that, you know, he's got dirt on Trump, and that he's going to reveal it to attack Trump because Trump is a villain. And, you know, so Alex Jones is not someone that, you know, Hugh said he is a Mossad CIA agent, and he specifically said that he was Mossad, and Mossad is CIA, and at least in Israel. And so Alex Jones is not a very trustworthy person. You know, he says a bunch of truthful stuff, and then on top of that, once he's got a bunch of support, he starts attacking Trump. A lot of other people have done this too, you know. What about Ann Coulter? She wrote all these books saying Trump is great. And then she got all that support from conservatives and then turned them to attack Trump. Alex Jones gets a bunch of support from conservatives and uses it to attack Trump.
Peter, it's almost like it's politically advantageous or financially advantageous for Alex Jones to now court even more anti-vax support by shitting on Trump for being pro-vaccine, because he just lost 2 court cases, and, you know, he's gonna owe a lot of money to those Sandy Hook families.
And so now the movement's been divided. My own church is being divided because my pastor might end up going in the direction of, you know,
M. Scheffler720 says, I used to think Peter could one day see the light and understand that he has been fooled by grifters. This video has made me lose all hopes for him. I'm sad now. I lost faith a while ago. At this point, I'm just, you know, I'm watching the Titanic sink from the distance. I'm not really hoping to save the ship at this point, you know? At the very least, I hope some passengers can get off. Nick with 45 bits says, they do it for money, Peter. Something you seem to love, pissing away on dumb shit. Daddy Sume with 50 bits. Really? Do I need to start passing out bans for making me say specific things? Daddy Sume with 50 bits says, I need you to oppress yourself, Hannah. Peter wants us all to feel the big boot of the orange man. We must submit to the uwu of the Trumpinator. Now what are you going to do about me? Is this another one? I'm not gonna read it again. It's just the same thing but in uwu speak. This is fucking horseshit. I'm not reading that one. I refuse. I have the right to refuse service to anyone.
You know, Trump is bad because he's pushing vaccines. Like, it sounds like he might go in that direction. And that is this split of...
You meant to post that one? Too bad. You had your chance.
Are you going to take Alex Jones' side or Trump's side? And Trump's pushing vaccines, so he's evil. So you better take Alex Jones' side. And Alex Jones has dirt on Trump, and he's going to release it because Trump is not a good person. This is all to divide and conquer. Right now, the deep state is trying to divide and conquer the whole conservative movement.
Him saying divide and conquer has the same energy of Nick Cage in Face Off saying, I want to take his face off.
And all Trump supporters by creating a...
What the uwu did Daddy Sume do? I don't know.
big fight. And it's very important that you
I'm so hungry. Why am I so hungry today? I already ate. Nick with 55-bit says, cleanse for later. Elmo goes berserk. Okay, thanks.
share this video with as many people as possible, or at the very least talk to people about this video so that this huge divisive tactic does not work, because it's very important that we stay united with Trump to help him save the world. And so we must remain united under Trump and trust Trump.
AstroFox with 200 bits says, I would appreciate you reading the uwu version of Daddy's last message. No.
He is saving the world, and no matter how much they try to divide us, it's very important that we stay united.
All right, let's cool it in the chat, Sume and Lamb Chop, and let's just chill out and watch Peter, okay?
Together. That's how I feel about it. So in summary,
let's not have a chat
Trump
civil war over the fucking uwu shit, please.
Played a super intelligent but also very costly chess piece move, and did a phenomenal job countering the deep state's attempt to create this narrative, to put us in concentration camps and execute a bunch of conservatives, and then it can easily win an election, because where do conservatives go? They're all dead, right? Trump did an excellent move, and now we have to work together to counter the deep state's counter move of Trump's counter, which is we must remain united.
This is interesting. It's interesting that in Trump's attempt to unite his group by bringing more moderate, air quote, right-wing Republicans who are fine with vaccinations and have gotten them, bring them in with the anti-vaxxers and trying to pull the anti-vaxxers back, and it's just done the opposite. It's done the opposite. People like Peter are just retreating further into their anti-vax stances. Very interesting. Rachology with 100 bits says, who'd have thought Trump would prove to be a divisive figure? No kidding. H-Baird posts a bunch of symbols I literally can't read. Read, oh, something read leet speak? Can you read leet speak? Or will you read leet speak? Okay, apparently I can. Daddy Sumo with 50-bit says, Team Uwu must defeat Team Owo. Daddy leads Team Uwu. Nick says, this sounds like an alternate version of that idiot Breitbart writer who says that the left is making right-wingers kill themselves by promoting vaccines. Yeah. Very strange. Obstinate, defiant personality disorder, as it turns out, appears to be very prevalent amongst right-wingers. Surprise.
Under Trump, we must support him every way we can. He is our general. We take orders from him, and we have to support him. Trump said the number one thing we should be doing right now is helping in any way to decertify the 2020 election. He said that's the number one priority of every Republican, every Trump supporter should be doing. And I'm trying to boost people's moods and try to cheer people up and support him in that way, and also trying to lessen this divisiveness, which is obviously by design, you know, to divide and conquer. And, you know, Q told us about this, divide and conquer.
Peter, the only thing that is dividing and conquering is COVID infecting you, dividing you from your family, and conquering your body. Please get vaccinated. Logarth for 50-bit says, great news, I discovered that someone left a perfectly good jelly donut in the break room for breakfast this morning. Dinner is served. Catherine CD, thanks for 9 months, says, time for a stream baby. This stream baby's name is... Yeah, chat's having a normal one today. I don't know what's going on with chat today. It's very strange. I guess I shouldn't take like 3 or 4 days off when I'm sick. It just pents up everyone's weird chat energy. Catherine CD, your stream baby's name is, you know what? Daddy Sume's having a normal one. Daddy Sume, name the stream baby.
They're trying to divide and conquer right now, and Alex Jones is...
I feel like I'm going to regret that decision.
leading the charge. So... think about that, guys. Try to stay united. I really appreciate all you guys for watching. And I know this has been a long video, but there's been so much on my mind, and I'm glad I finally discovered...
Why give him any power, Hannah? It's like if you gave a chimpanzee a machine gun. Like, nothing good's gonna come out of it, but it's gonna be interesting. Daddy Sume says, Emma Twist. Okay, that's a normal name-ish. Kinda sounds like a porn name. Might be a porn star. If it is, that's fine.
a theory that is extremely likely, that makes a lot of sense, that fits nicely with all the clues that I collected. And now we know that Trump, no matter what, I mean, most likely, yes, these vaccines are going to do a lot of damage to people, but it was better than an alternative. And I do think med beds are around the corner and they will heal people.
Peter, med beds are not real. Med beds are not real. They are sci-fi technology that doesn't exist.
It's all going to...
Rachology says, maybe it's all those spiked donuts I've been leaving for chatters to find.
work out. It's all going to work out. Then again, I am an optimistic Trump supporter, so that's what I always believe, right? All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I will be posting videos of optimistic Trump supporter on YouTube in a little while, maybe at some point this week, and so that is my goal.
Med beds, question mark. Med beds are a sci-fi technology. If you've ever seen a sci-fi movie where anyone has any disease or injury, they basically put them in the bed and it magically cures all their illnesses and diseases. Peter thinks these are real and that Donald Trump is in contact with aliens and bringing them to Earth so he can cure everyone's diseases. Oh yeah, by the way, she posted this to Twitter already, so this is public. Sarah and our corn lord, Actual Jake, got engaged, so everyone congratulate Sarah, Legend of Phoenix. That's awesome. I'm really happy for you two. I'm excited to see you guys. I haven't seen you guys since the engagement. I know Jake and I wanted to hang out and go see that Spider-Man movie or something, so hopefully soon we can get together and hang out, celebrate, all that jazz. That's gonna be a fun wedding, I bet. I'm excited
to do that. And until then, I appreciate all the support. Thank you so much, guys. I hope this answers your question, calms you down, and builds up your support against Trump. And hopefully you can spread this video and share it so that we can stop the divisiveness.
Peter says after being the thing that Trump said was divisive. I love it. I love it so much. So that's what Peter's been up to. If you're watching this later on YouTube, first of all, subscribe and like the video, please. Second of all, I apologize for chat today. It's been a weird one. So yeah, that's what Peter's up to. Still delusional, perhaps more delusional than ever. He may have COVID based on the post he was making to Great Awakening. Don't know for sure. But that's what we know so far. We'll check in on him again in the future, of course, and find out, you know, how he's doing. Probably